happening right now. You've only got a few hours left to get a whiff of an event that only happens every 7 to 10 years. The corpse flower, named Horace, is in bloom at the Como Zoo and Conservatory. These plants grow up to 9 feet tall and, as implied, lets off an intense smell when in bloom. Experts say this rare bloom helps draw attention to the efforts of conserving the corpse flower.
There's fewer than 1,000 left in the wild. That's due to habitat loss. That area where this plant grows natively is really popular for palm oil plantations.
The flower only blooms for a day or two, so you'll want to go today to really take it in. The zoo is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can head to the Japanese garden gates to see Horace.
So in Health Watch, millions of sick Americans may soon have a tougher time keeping their Medicaid coverage. The first ever federal work requirement starts in January in most states. These new rules decide which enrollees are eligible for an exemption. Enrollees will need to have a medical condition that significantly impairs their ability to work. Patient advocacy groups warn stricter rules jeopardize people's coverage. CDC says that the current Ebola outbreak has the potential to become the largest on record. It's already the 4th largest on record, at least 60 confirmed deaths. Researchers say it could quickly surpass other historic outbreaks if strong public health interventions are not implemented rapidly. They say that it could become as large as the 2014 to 16 outbreak in West Africa that infected more than 28,000 people. 11,000 people died in that one. Health officials maintain that the risk to the U.S. is still low. And we have a recall this morning for parents who shop at Target. Target voluntarily recalling some batches of its Up and Up brand fragrance-free and cucumber-scented baby wipes. Company says that customers complained of discoloration and that FDA testing of some of the products found the presence of a bacteria that could cause serious or life-threatening illness. Customers are urged to stop using the products and return them to Target for a full refund.
New reactions from farmers after President Trump's visit to Wisconsin Friday. A better than expected job report revealed U.S. employers added 172,000 jobs in May, according to the Labor Department. But in the heart of Wisconsin's farm country, a different bottom line is leaving farmers struggling. They're dealing with tariffs and rising fuel and fertilizer costs from the war with Iran. Farmers seemed divided on President's handling of the economy, regardless of party.
That you're better off?
Oh, I think so, probably.
Well, I think that things are more expensive.
No, I'm not real happy with them. I can use the buzzword affordability. Everybody's talking about affordability. I don't see it. I don't see them doing anything about it.
Many American farmers hire seasonally, meaning their numbers aren't included in that job report. Crews are still trying to find the cause of a deadly fire in western Minnesota from this weekend. It happened around 1 Sunday morning in Land Township. That's just southwest of Alexandria. The Grant County Sheriff says they responded to multiple reports of a large fire that had spread to nearby structures. By the time fire crews got on scene, they say all of them were engulfed. Once crews put out the fires, they found a body in the home. An investigation into the cause of the fire is ongoing.
Annunciation Catholic School will be getting some upgrades to their wiffle ball field thanks to the Minnesota Twins, and school leaders say that the improvements are needed.
It is our gym class. It's every day during the school year. It's wiffle ball tournaments. It's minor league baseball. The Minneapolis Millers have end of the year seasons banquets up there. It's quite a hospitality place, and it's been well used, and so it's time for a little bit of love.
The Twins honored Annunciation families at a pre-game ceremony over the weekend. The school has received global support since a shooter opened fire there last summer, killing 2 students and wounding many others. Annunciation says that they will unveil this new renovated field in September.
Israel and Iran traded missile fire this morning in retaliatory strikes, threatening efforts to reach a peace deal after the war hit the 100-day mark over the weekend.
According to multiple reports, President Trump had called the Israeli prime minister to urge him to hold off on the strikes. Our Bradley Blackburn joining us now from New York this morning following these morning strikes and a potential sign, Bradley, here truly of escalation in this war.
Yeah, Barrett and Heather. And this morning, just a short time ago, President Trump took to Truth Social to call on Israel and Iran to stop the shooting immediately. This is clearly not what he wanted as he tries to push towards ending this conflict. It's not clear what kind of warning the U.S. had about these new Israeli strikes. And overnight, mediators did say that these attacks are disrupting efforts to reach a peace deal.
Sirens blared over Israel Monday morning, signaling a re-escalation in the war with Iran. Israel says its defense forces carried out strikes on Iranian military sites and a petrochemical plant. This after Iran fired missiles at Israel in retaliation for Israeli military strikes on Hezbollah targets near Beirut. According to reports from the Associated Press and Axios, Israel launched strikes after President Trump had called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and urged him not to retaliate against Iran.
We get along very well. We've been great comrades. I disagree with him on a couple of things.
In a pre-taped interview with NBC News Meet the Press, which aired Sunday, President Trump acknowledged that he and Netanyahu are sometimes at odds.
I'd like to see a more surgical attack on Hezbollah.
The latest exchange of fire, along with multiple rounds of defensive strikes the U.S. has carried out against Iran in recent days, now threaten the fragile ceasefire as President Trump pushes Tehran to reach a peace agreement.
We're very close to having a deal, and if we don't have a deal, we'll do it one way or the other. Either way, we win.
Iran has described the negotiations as deadlocked, and this morning the country's Revolutionary Guard said it is ready, quote, for any scenario and for widespread operations on all fronts.
And in that NBC interview, President Trump acknowledged that during the ceasefire, Iran may have built up some of its military capacity. And the flare-up is already sending oil prices up, too. At one point overnight, crude futures spiked by more than 4%, guys.
All righty. Bradley Blackburn for us from New York this morning. Thank you. And talking about those oil prices, let's talk about your gas prices here on this Monday. Things continuing to come down over the weekend. So nationally, gas is $4.16 a gallon. Here in Minnesota, we have dipped below $4. We're now $3.97. A month ago, we were at $4.19.
New this morning, new fighting in the years-long war between Russia and Ukraine. This morning, the countries launched drone attacks against each other. These attacks are targeting critical energy infrastructure, including near the site of Chernobyl nuclear power plant. In Russia, Ukraine targeted St. Petersburg, the country's second largest city. Ukrainian President Zelensky says continued support from European allies is vital in the war, as he claims deliveries of U.S. missiles have slowed due to the war with Iran. In Washington last week, House lawmakers voted to send more aid to Ukraine, but the bill could face a challenge in the Senate.
The threat of a major tsunami is over. This is after an earthquake rocked the southern Philippines this morning. You can see from video here elementary school students and teachers swaying in that quake as it shakes the ground beneath them. It was a 7.8 magnitude. It was offshore and it shook the southern part of the country. Officials say it triggered a 3-foot tsunami with small waves that were detected in Indonesia and Malaysia. At least 19 people are dead. More than 200 have been hurt. There's damage to the buildings as the cleanup and recovery is just getting started here. Now, one of the hardest hit towns is General Santos. That's a port city. That's a hub of the tuna export industry. The president of the Philippines says that the government will be stepping in to help. If you are dog walking or cat walking today, you're going to get sweaty real fast.
Both animal and human are both going to be, panting a little bit. It's going to be hot outside, but it's going to be kind of in a different form today because, through the weekend we had sunny skies on Saturday. It was pushing 90. It was just hot in general. But today, lower 80s, but it's going to feel a little heavy because of how thick the air is, because of all the moisture that we have. Dew points are in the mid to upper 60s, which is just a way that we can gauge the moisture in the atmosphere. And once you get mid 60s to about 70, it's going to feel very humid outside. You'll notice it when you're going out, just to walk or a run or whatever you're doing for today. Satellite and radar, here's 9:15. You can see a line of storms marching through Stearns County. For the most part, very scattered, not a lot of organization, at least not around here, though we may see a few more pop-up thunderstorms developing later today. For us right now, it's pretty quiet. Where it's a little busier, again, is moving through Stearns County, through portions of Candiota County and down to the southeast. Now, if everything stays together, it's going to hit maybe Wright County here through the late 9 a.m. hour, and it'll push right through St. Cloud. But this is going to be a moment of some heavy rain, maybe some lightning, and probably some wind as well. Just something that you'll want to be indoors for a little bit. Chain of systems just out to the west here, which is just going to continue to pump in our storm threat as we go through the next couple of days. Now for today, we have that 1 of 5 risk up to the northwest for some severe weather. Just very, very isolated, maybe some wind and a little bit of hail. Tomorrow into Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon is when I actually see us with a better threat, or I should say a higher threat for some strong to severe weather moving on in. So the first storm I'm a little concerned about is going to be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, more so like shortly after midnight till about 3 a.m., where we could have some severe weather overnight while you're in bed, and I think wind would be our greatest threat at that point in time. The second storm would be more afternoon into the evening to nighttime on Wednesday, where we already have a level 3 of 5 enhanced risk for severe weather, where I think all elements are possible with that storm system. Let me show you. We'll go through the timing for today, some sun breaks, some dry time, and then isolated showers and storms developing, some steadier rain maybe down to the southeast, and just, scattered action up to the north and northwest. Weather models have a cluster of storms forming later this evening out west, and maybe it will hold together, bringing in a few showers and storms late tonight for the most part. Again, as I say that, there won't be a lot happening overnight into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, for the most part, also going to be dry. We have clear skies and sunshine by the time we head into the evening, but this is when storms start developing up to the northwest, and we could get some powerful storms forming. And I mentioned maybe some severe weather late at night. This would be that storm system moving through after midnight, and then it clears out. Now, that is likely going to change, but it is something that we'll have to just monitor for now. I'm more concerned about anything that develops Wednesday afternoon, for the ingredients are all going to be there for strong to severe weather, and we can see that kind of forming and bubbling up, and that is something that we will really be focusing on over the next day or two. Just think Wednesday afternoon into the evening, you should have some backup plans and be prepared for some severe weather, especially the 35 corridor to the east. In fact, this is what it looks like tomorrow. The severe risk, 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5. And then notice what happens on Wednesday. Everything shifts. Now we have a 3 of 5 risk from the cities down through Owatonna to the east. And that's why we're really concerned about Wednesday's affair and weather conditions. I'll tell you this, 90 on Tuesday, 88 on Wednesday. It's hot and humid tomorrow and Wednesday. And then we cool down some. And 80 comes in on Thursday. Friday, it looks like a lovely day. And then I think we see 70s, which we really haven't had much of over the last 2 weeks. But I have us cooling down to maybe even the lower 70s by Sunday.
I don't know. I think you're right, Joseph. Friday might be our strawberry picking day.
So far, Friday looks beautiful, so we'll see what we get out of that. But for now, most afternoons are going to be pretty dry, but we're going to have to watch the nighttime, especially tomorrow night.
Okay, great. Thank you.
This weekend, cyclists will take to the road to support research for multiple sclerosis through the Bike MS 150 Minnesota Ride.
And joining us now, one of the riders, Ted Budd. Ted, thanks for being here. 150 miles, that's a long way. Whew. Tell us about this ride.
Yeah, well, we break it up over 2 days, so it's 75 miles a day, and we really break it up into 15-mile segments. So every 15 miles, there's a fully supported rest stop, so you can stop, get off the bike, have snacks and drinks and socialize. The bike shops set up tents there, so if your bikes need adjustment, and then you get back on and you head out for the next 15 miles.
I know you're doing it with your wife. How's your training going?
It's going well. We've done a couple longer rides this spring and did part of the new route this weekend. So.
Right.
Tell me why you wanted to get involved with this.
Yeah, 2 big reasons. First, we have family members that live with MS. And then second, about 15 years ago, I was working with a company, local company, Donaldson Company, and they field one of the largest teams every year for this event. There's many corporate teams that participate, and they encouraged me to ride. And now 13 years later, I'm still riding because it's such a great event.
You talked about a new route. Tell us where this takes you.
Yeah, so we start the event in Burnsville at Buck Hill.
Okay.
And we'll load up on Friday, our gear and our people on coach buses, and go to St. Peter, Minnesota. And that's really the epicenter of the ride this year. So the first day on Saturday, we ride a loop from St. Peter through towns, back through Cleveland and back to St. Peter. And then on day 2, we start in St. Peter and ride back to Buck Hill.
Okay, I'm sure I'm glad Joseph gave you better weather this weekend.
Right? Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You talked a little bit about the training. It's going well, which is great. But how do you train for something like this? I mean, 150 miles is no small feat.
Right. You think 15 miles. And so the way I like to say is if you can ride a bike for an hour, you can do this event. So that's how I train.
Okay.
And I have
mindset.
I also have to think that there's some adrenaline going on when you're doing it for such an incredible cause with so many other people that are taking up this cause too.
Yeah, every year we have 2,000 to 3,000 riders, and we have lots of supporters out there with cowbells and signs, and so it's a lot of fun. So it's part cycling event, it's part charity event, and it's also really part community celebration.
I like to say it's part party, seems like.
Okay.
When you talk with your family members who have MS, I mean, talking with them about this and supporting this cause, what has that journey been like for you?
Yeah, they obviously really appreciate it, and we're out to end this disease, and so this is our way of raising money and awareness for this disease in our fight against it.
Yeah. Which jersey is yours?
They all are. So every year,
there we go.
if you raise $1,000, the MS Society creates a unique design, which cyclists love the merch. And so this is last year's jersey right there. And then every year there's a different jersey, including when we celebrated 75 years as an organization in 2021.
So you've got 13 of these jerseys. You've been doing these 13
This year will be 13.
13. Amazing. If somebody's watching and feeling inspired to help or to join the ride, could they still do that?
Yes, of course. We'd still love more riders. We'd love some volunteers. We need hundreds of volunteers for this event. So it's an event for everyone. If you don't want to ride, you can volunteer. And then you can also just donate money and support riders and teams out there.
Very cool.
All right. Well, Ted, good luck. Good luck to you and your wife and your team. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Bike MS 150 Minnesota this Saturday and Sunday. We'll have a link with all the info, how to donate when we post this segment at WCCO.com.
Local author has released her 6th book, Little Birdie Buddies of Hope. The books carry a message of hope. Author and artist Heather Boschke here with us today. Thanks for being here, Heather.
Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. It's so neat to see, the start of the sketchbook and then see it on the cover there. What is it like for you to see the finished product?
I mean, I love all my bird babies, but it's so fun to bring them to life and then to see them out in the world in different forms is the best.
Yeah. Heather, we've been lucky enough to have you on the show before talking about these Little Birdie Buddies books, and the idea, they are so beautiful, but also just the idea of what they represent, it is really special, and you don't see it in all places. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this book came out of a couple of losses I experienced at the end of last year. One was my cousin who committed suicide, and it was very shocking. I didn't know he was struggling, and I got to thinking about all of the people who are silently suffering. And when we feel trapped in darkness, it can get really hard to believe that hope still exists. It becomes invisible. And in processing those losses, I could see this billboard in my mind with the words, Birdies of Hope. And just like lightning, I knew that that was the next book. So this book really is a physical manifestation that hope never leaves us.
I love that, and it's just filled with little reminders. I mean, little bite-sized nuggets. I just paged through a couple of these. What do you want people to walk away from after reading your book?
I think for me, it's all about just knowing hope is always there. Hope is the fuel that moves us forward. It's believing that the story is more than what we can see in the moment, and when we go through tough times or difficult seasons, or even a tough time where you just replay something over and over in your head, like you get tunnel vision. And hope gently redirects the view and tells us there's more to the story. We can keep writing a new story. And birds do such a beautiful job of reminding us that after every season, a new season will come. And so I want people to hold on to that and to know that the story is always being written, and we are always one decision from positively changing our lives at any time.
Talk to us about, you have other books here, other Little Birdie books, other products. Talk to us about those.
I've got 4 children's books. That's kind of how this whole thing started, was drawing birds and learning about birds, and they're really educational. So there's 4 of those. We've got Birdies of Love, which is what we talked about last time, which is all about the messages birds bring us from people who have passed. Birdies of Hope, and then on my website I've got plushies and mugs and pins and puzzles and all sorts of things that bring my birds to life in different ways.
What has the response been like so far?
People love the birds, and really that's how this whole thing started. I started drawing to return to something I loved as a kid. Then I saw how people were responding to the birds. They were just making people happy, and I thought, you know what, I do think part of my purpose is to spread joy one bird at a time. And so when people started to fall in love with the birds, I started to create more products and ways that people could have a piece of them.
Have you always been an artist? I mean, these are just stunning.
Thank you. I loved drawing as a kid, and then I got into high school and I stopped. And for 27 years, I didn't draw until COVID lockdown, when I could hear this little whisper in my heart telling me to draw again. And my grandpa used to call me Heather Feather, and so birds are my favorite animal. And
I love that.
I started drawing these birds, and it's been the yellow brick road. And so I feel like this has been, maybe these birds have been trapped in me for a long time, but I'm not like a trained artist. I didn't study it or anything like that.
And you've written all of this in here too.
I have, yeah.
I think there's some more birdie books in you.
I really do. I think you're right, yes.
I think you do. Where can people find them if they're looking?
Yes, littlebirdiebuddies.com is my website, and then I'm doing a book signing tomorrow at Lake Winds in Minnetonka from 10 to noon, and I've got a bunch of events on my website where people can come check me out and say hi to the birdies.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Heather, for being here.
Yes, thank you guys.
And you can check out all of Heather's books and other Little Birdie Buddies at her website, as she mentioned. We have a link when we'll post this segment, WCCO.com.
Two music superstars, Josh Groban and Jennifer Hudson, are coming to Grand Casino Arena on Sunday, June 28th. But you can get a sweet treat based on that concert now, and even a chance to win tickets.
So here to tell us more about this, Tracy Proman from Grand Casino Arena, and Mark Yu, co-owner and executive pastry chef at Mark Yu Patisserie Paris. Thanks so much for both of you for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
How did this collab come about?
Well, we've done a couple things with you guys now.
Yes.
They did a beautiful dessert spread for Twice, the K-pop group that was just backstage for the band. And we were like, this is awesome. They loved it. We love him. And so when Josh Groban and Jennifer Hudson were coming, we were like, those are two big award-winning, singers and performers. We want a big award-winning dessert for them. And so we reached out to the patisserie, and the chef said, we'll make something special.
So chef, what did you make?
So we call it Sweet Harmony.
Okay.
And so it was, we just went online to find out what type of dessert pastries they both like. And we found out that Josh Groban loves coffee, and that Jennifer Hudson like more of a pound cake. Obviously, it's not going to be her more of a recipe, but I just like to honor that. So on the inside, you have a pound cake that's soaked into espresso coffee, a coffee mousse cake. Everything is sitting on a chocolate sablé, and on top you have a 24-karat gold leaf veil that's covering everything with a chocolate music note, just to remind them of their amazing talent.
It looks beautiful, so I'm certain it tastes beautiful too.
The veil is edible?
Everything is edible beside the logo. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so what happens when Josh Groban and Jennifer Hudson see this?
Yeah. Well, we are going to serve it to them.
Yes,
will be
yes, you are.
For them
and
their crew. I think it looks like an award.
It does,
doesn't it?
Okay, I don't want to touch it, but I also want to see what it's like inside.
Go
so,
for
chef,
it.
if that's okay.
Please.
So,
okay.
While we do serve it to them, you can also go and get this dessert. It's at the patisserie, both in St. Paul and Minneapolis. And so you can go in, you can order this, and when you go to the shop in St. Paul, you can enter to win tickets to the concert, along with dinner, parking, and signed vinyls from both artists.
Amazing.
So you can go, the patisserie in St. Paul, as well as GrandCasinoArena.com online.
Okay. Remind us where the patisserie is in both Minneapolis and St. Paul.
So in St. Paul, it's on Dale Street, and in Minneapolis, in Linden Hill.
Okay. I've never had anything bad at the patisserie. I mean, I've never had anything less than awesome there, so I can see why you'd want to join.
It's incredible.
I did have a quick question though about this concert. Is it Jennifer Hudson and Josh Groban together? Like, are they doing duets? Like, what is this concert?
I don't know if there's duets, but I know they're both taking the stage and performing, and alone they're incredible together. It's insane. Josh has a new album out that's all famous songs from movies, and then Jennifer hasn't been on the road in quite some time. So we're really excited for her to be,
it's special.
For us to be one of her stops. Yeah.
Okay, Barrett, I gotta dive in.
Okay, get in there.
Yeah.
Thank you for journalistic purposes.
Yeah, I must. you all must know how this is. So.
Okay.
I mean, I already. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
I'll bring this plate a little closer.
Chef Tracy, thank you both so much for being here today.